We're back. I'm feeling pretty good. The overall fatigue carryover has not been terrible. I mean, it's been 1 week, but usually after even 1 week, if my tendonitis is going to flare up, it usually starts. But so far, the elbow feels pretty good. Today we're benching and we're deadlifting. In the program, it's written that we deadlift first and then we bench after, but I like to kind of follow the competition schedule. So I usually will deadlift after I bench every time just to kind of feel what that feels like. It's a lot of volume today. 5 sets of bench, 5 sets of deadlift. We're going to see. I'll talk more about it as we go, but my deadlift has been in a rough spot. I'm trying to be a little nice to myself about it, but it's in a pretty rough spot. It's nowhere near on par strength-wise with where the rest of my lifts are, and there's a decent amount of pain in some reps. It's my adductor, my hip. So I've had to switch from sumo to conventional because that mitigates some of the pain, but overall it's still tough. So we're just gonna try and rebuild it. A couple months back, I had a big issue with my squat and my ankle, and basically had to strip the squat all the way down and rebuild it. Basically from 315 back up. So that's kind of where we're at with the deadlift. Anytime I pass 3 reds, you start to really feel it. I wouldn't even say 3 reds are comfortable. So I'll talk more about the process as we get to the deadlift. For the bench press, we're feeling really good. We hit a single at 155 for like NRP 6.5, 7 on Friday, which was a couple days ago, or Thursday. So it's just volume today. It's 135, I think, for 5 times, obviously. But I think the structural work that I did on my bench has really carried over, has really helped. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, all right, enough yapping. Let's get to it. Let's see how we feel today. Warm up, soft tissue warm ups went pretty well. Like I said, not a ton of fatigue carryover, which has been really nice, especially in the bench. So we'll work to make sure that continues. Feels pretty good. Oh man. We'll go 100. I don't know. Overall, non-gym related fatigue is still pretty high, just based on sleep. Although every week the baby gets better and better at sleeping, but now it's just recouping a little bit of a sleep debt. For about 3.5 months, I didn't sleep at all, or slept very minimally, and that adds up after some time, So right now it's all about getting back to, some sort of baseline. Cardio wise, I feel pretty good. I've added in a couple cardio sessions, just trying to listen to my body in terms of rest. But I found that an incline walk 2 times a week on rest days is really not overtly fatiguing. So it's actually been helping me a little bit. And then I take Fridays as kind of like a full reset day, just get 8,000 steps and kind of calm the mind, calm the body a little bit. Parents are in town this week, so my eating has not been perfect. We ate out last night and the night before, but I don't know. Weight loss is so far down the priority list right now that I'm trying, but I'm not stressing. It's 135 as our top set, so we'll probably do this, 2 reds, and then just go for it. I like this day a lot, bench press wise, because it's kind of the middle day. You got high volume on day 1, moderate volume on day 2, and then higher intensity on day 4. I like that prescription a lot. I really like that way that kind of ebbs and flows throughout the week. feels pretty good. Whew, the allergies are starting up though. Tough. My least favorite season is coming. Spring. Oof. The oak hasn't started yet, the yellow pollen. So I'm okay. I'm only slightly allergic to like cedar or whatever the green pollen is. So I can still breathe right now, but I'm not looking forward to the yellow pollen. I think one thing that has really made success replicable on my bench across, higher rep sets, higher weight, has just been the standardization of my setup and just being able to stack all my joints. I used to have a really bad problem with my elbows just being super far forward and kind of pressing up towards my neck or towards my forehead, which is fine for a lot of people. But for me, for whatever reason, it would torque my elbows, and that was where the tendonitis would start. Now staying more, wider, more stacked. That's really just helped keep the structure intact throughout all the reps. So I try and, even from the empty bar, keep that structure intact as much as possible. I used to not think the warm-ups were as important technique-wise, but keeping them turned on with technique has helped a lot. All right. Nice little last double there. We'll go to 135. Feels good. I'm playing around with widening my grip out a little bit. In the past, I haven't been able to just because of the shoulder problems, but I've done so much shoulder work, behind the neck press, behind the neck pull downs, just general like mobility work, to where my shoulder mobility has improved so much that it might be advantageous to do it. I don't like to really make sweeping changes during a meet prep, but we'll see. Maybe after, for a couple blocks, I'll play around with it. All right, 5 sets of this. Should be a lot of fun. Let's see if we can make first set and fifth set look the same. That's usually my goal with these volume sets. I'm gonna try and film every set just so we can see together if there's any technique breakdown or anything like that. When you're talking about these bigger groups of sets, there's obviously going to be a little bit of breakdown, strength-wise, energy-wise. But what I'm looking for is, does technique stay consistent through that level of breakdown? Good start. I'd say that's probably around a 7. All these sets are percentage based, which is nice. The only thing that's RPE based with the bench press is the single on the last day. So it's kind of a different way than what I'm used to training. One of the mental things I'm working on is kind of internally finding that level of arousal and motivation. Because like I was talking about last week, in my last competition, I had a really hard time just like internally staying present, being ready for each attempt. I just felt bored, for lack of a better word. I felt, I just didn't want to be there. And there's a number of reasons for that. I felt pretty bad on the day. I was really light. I hadn't eaten well. I hadn't slept well because it was, my first competition back in a long time, so I was nervous, all that jazz. But I think also I relied on so much external stimuli to amp me up and get me to a state of arousal for each lift during prep. Louder music, heavier music, smelling salts, external factors like other people, the environment causing me to get boosted up. So I'm trying, I've got like ambient noise in my headphones, and I'm trying to find that state of arousal internally rather than externally so that I can tap into that when I need it. Just some hippie mumbo jumbo that I'm, and you do this as long as I do, you kind of you got to find ways to, I guess, dig deep. When you first start out, everything's fun and you want to be in the gym. But when other stuff, life stress gets in the way, or, maybe you're deeper into your career, your lifting career. For me personally, I don't want to put this on anybody else, but it becomes harder and harder to keep going to the same well to get energy. So I'm working on that. This is the second set. Nice. Going along with that, no sitting on your phone in between sets. Just trying to stay present. My life has been a series of trying to not disassociate, that's probably too strong of a word, but just be elsewhere mentally than where my physical body is. For whatever reason. Subconsciously, I think. I'm not really doing it on purpose. I'm not really running away from anything. It's just kind of what I do. I always have, podcasts on in the background or whatever. But for this prep, I'm trying to just stay here, stay dialed in, feel the movements, feel what's happening in my body. So you see that slowdown, third set, fourth rep, start to see that strength slowdown. But I'll watch the video back and see, are my joints still stacked? Am I still creating tension, still creating that good arch? And if all that's there, but the bar speed is just slowing down, then you can effectively say, oh, it's just fatigue, intra-set fatigue. Because it's hard to continue to do this amount of weight over and over and over again, or whatever amount of weight it is for you. This is 74%, I think 75%. Once you start passing 70 and you're doing that for multiple reps, multiple sets, it is okay to see the bar speed slow down. You would expect to see the bar speed slow down. I would argue if the bar speed's not slowing down, you're probably not training in an intensity high enough to continually make progress. Now, there are obviously times when you want a lighter session, but most of the time you kind of want to be right up to that red line where you're pushing yourself really hard and it's hard in the session. And then after, 24, 48 hours, you're recovered enough that you can go that hard again. That's kind of the basic heuristics that I use when I'm training. So, I think we got 2 more sets or 3 more sets. I don't know. Overall, feeling pretty good. I feel like maybe I'm getting some of my wind back, some of my cardio back. But that's definitely going to take a bit more time, I think. It feels like everything is the same, Obviously, that's why we film, so we can get an objective look. But feelings-wise, feels pretty good. Last set. Yeah. See you, man. Take it easy. Yeah. And then my deadlifting after that, which I'm a little bit shaky on, but you know, stay in the moment. Nice. That's a really good group of sets. All right, we're deadlifting. One of the major ways that I'm addressing the pain that I've been feeling is kind of just going up until that pain point becomes not unbearable, but I guess like right before the pain becomes unbearable. So it's written as 5 sets. Last week I got 2 at 180. So we'll see. I'd like to match 2 and maybe get 3, but really don't know. I did some hinge work already and it doesn't feel the best it's ever felt, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but it's not, it doesn't inspire confidence, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when I throw the belt on. It just comes down to just a lack of comfort in the position and being able to generate enough force. Because if I do, that's kind of when the pain starts. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 to where I don't have enough torque in my hips to get past 180 or 3 reps because of the pain that it generates. But if I change stances, it gets worse. So I guess it's not really a catch-22 at all. It's kind of just bad. In general. All right, take 2 minutes and come back to it. This is kind of the decider. If this one is a struggle as well, I'll probably just go 3 reps and see what we can get. First 2 reps felt pretty decent. A 3rd rep. I don't know. This is one of those times where my ego wants to go probably a little bit heavier than I should. So, in understanding that, probably should fight against it and just stay at 3 reps. There you go. Kill the ego today. There's just such a strong voice of, oh, you're being weak. But I need to try something different than what I've been trying that keeps me injured over and over and over again. So, more of the side-on angle here. Try and see if it's my hinge or my back position or what, but the last few times I've looked, everything seems fine. I hate chalk. Bane of my existence. But can't use straps, so better get used to it, buddy. Come on. Okay. Not great. I wonder if we try and do one more. I'll watch it back and see. That really hurt. We're gonna do one more. I've got to at least match last week. It's painful during. I guess painful. I want to be very deliberate with my language. I feel the sensation in my adductor during the set. Is it pain? Probably not. But I think it whispers of pain. But only during the set. So I'm gonna just try and keep going. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Okay. Not terrible. But we are going to move on. Maybe next week we'll get 3. We'll see. A bit pressed for time, so I'm just going to record one set from here on. But Pendlays, I'm trying to take this like back to basics, like 5 kilos each week, maybe 2.5 kilos each week. Just progress like that. No more fancy progression. I just feel like sometimes the best way to make progress is to just add 5 pounds until you can't, and then reset in a different rep range, in a different intensity range, or change exercises. So Pendlays, I've got a 4-week block. I'm gonna try and add 5 kilos each week and see how that goes. That's tough, but a good tough. I don't know why that hinge doesn't cause any problems. I don't know. I'm a little bit at a loss with my deadlift, but we'll keep trying. Next up, we got an old staple that I haven't really done in a long time. I love a seated hamstring curl. Much prefer this to the lying leg curl variation. I just feel like with the seated hamstring curl, you can get, at least for me personally, you get a lot more hamstring activation. I can feel the movement a little bit better. It doesn't really pull on the back of my knees the same way that the lying hamstring curl does. If you love the lying hamstring curl, go for it. But me personally, I'm a seated ride or die. Also, I think I'm getting a little adductor carryover here because I do feel it kind of pinch. That's why I'm taking it very slow, very deliberate. The weight is a little bit lighter because I feel like if I can help my hamstrings out a little bit, in theory, maybe get a little adductor carryover, get a little bit stronger on this movement. Hopefully that'll help kind of ease the issues that I'm feeling with deadlift. I don't know if that's going to work or even how or if that works, but in my mind, strengthening the muscles around it probably gonna help. So, we got one more exercise after this. Close grip pull downs, one of my favorites. I really like this, not just for the back engagement, but also the bicep engagement. I think it's a really slept on bicep movement as well as a good back movement. As you pull, try and mimic that curl, right? So obviously you want to start with your back, but as you pull in, kind of get that peak contraction in the bicep. It's a really good, at least using it as a bicep warm-up before your bicep work, which is what I normally do. I'll usually do 2 or 3 sets of this and then go into my heavier, barbell curls and stuff like that. I find that it really helps, so it's something to keep in mind. We're gonna go 10 reps here. I'm trying to stay as tight with my elbows as possible on this one and try and stay as stacked, right? I'm not going into spinal extension. I'm trying to stay as stacked, like if I would brace on a squat to get some of that carryover with my abs to stay in that position. I feel like that really helps a lot. So that's another way you can kind of shake things up with this. That's gonna do it for me, friends. Thank you for hanging out with me on another day. The deadlift is not where we want it to be, but it's something to work towards, to put a positive spin on it. Bench is flying, so we will take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. These vlogs are a little bit tougher to do now, time restraints and stuff like that, but I really do like making them, and I like kind of hanging out with my supposed audience, even though it's kind of just me. Still feels like, carrying on a conversation with a group of people as I train. Like I talked about earlier, it's helping me stay mentally locked in, present in the moment. So I really appreciate it. If you are vibing with some of these vlogs, go ahead and subscribe. We'd really appreciate you joining the channel, becoming part of the channel. Join the Discord if you want to run this program. It's the TSA 9-week intermediate. You can find a link to Boost Camp in my description. And if you use code BlackBearBarbell with no spaces, you get 2 free weeks. So it's a pretty good deal if I do say so myself. My favorite sponsor, my only sponsor. God bless Boost Camp. What else? That's it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are training hard and things are going your way at the start of this year. I mean, it's March now, so kind of deep into it, but I hope you're achieving the goals that you set out for yourself. Get strong. Stay strong.